is Monday, August 19th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Jet Home Loans. And now, a guy who personally knows each and every member of the flight crew on the last plane out of Atlanta to Jax on Saturday night, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. J.P. Shadrick, Tony Boselli coming up. Pete Prisco as well. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center on 1010XL 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Here's what's coming up. Buccaneers Jaguars review. Preseason week 2. The Jaguars get the job done. A 20-7 win over the Buccaneers. Mac Jones had a performance. We're looking ahead to Atlanta in preseason week 3. Short week. It's on Friday night. We'll keep it real as always. And Fanatics fan questions. That's all coming up. The Hall of Famer, Tony Boselli, with me in studio. Good afternoon, Tony.
What's up? How we doing today?
Well, Pete Prisco is in South Florida, CBS Sports senior writer, and I do mean senior. Hello, Pete.
Well, there you go. There's the first shot of the day. There's the first shot.
That didn't take long.
No, didn't take long at all.
Pete, how old are you now, Pete? Out of curiosity, I'm being serious on this one.
63.
Yeah, I'll say this: I don't know if you're a young 63 or I'm just getting older, so 63 seems like not very old any longer. But let me ask you a question. Would you have thought you felt that, when you were back when I was playing, you were your mid-30s, call it? Did you think you'd feel as good as you do now and be at 63? No. Because that felt like ancient back then.
Yeah, but you know what though? 63 is different than like when our grandparents were 63, they were old.
Yes.
But not anymore.
The 60s are the new 30s.
Yeah. And Tony will be saying that until he hits his 60s, and he's going to be saying, well, the 70s are the new 40s.
That's my goal, at least, Pete. I'm not trying to take care of myself for any other reason.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, I feel great, and you know what? I love doing what I'm doing, and if you love doing what you're doing, it makes it a lot easier to to keep going and keep churning it. And you know how this is. We get into a routine. We do this, and this, and next thing you know, you're another year older, right? I mean, how old are you now, Tony?
52.
60?
52.
59?
No, I'm 52. Relax there, Pete.
Yeah, but you got to add in those football years, though. So that's like.
I think part of my body is 52. Another part is 75.
And there's other parts that are like 4.
Yeah, right. Then you just get a couple new parts put in. You're like a young kid now.
I'm happy. I hope part of me stays like as a teenager, and that's my mental and my fun meter.
Me too.
I don't want to get old. I don't want to get old.
I always think about that. I'm 63 and I'm still like a 17-year-old idiot.
Yeah, I want to stay there.
Yeah, because that's when you know you have problems.
I don't need to grow up. Although Pete, you said doing what you love, I think I agree with you, helps you stay young. However, I think there's probably some Jaguar fans that think what you love to do, you're not very good at after picking the Jags to go 9-8 this year, and the Texans to go 9-8, and for the Texans to win the division. We're gonna have to talk about that.
Wow,
that is that's an
early pick that I did. They told me to do that on a Monday, and I did it on Monday night and went through the games and picked them, and then I came up with that, and it's an early pick. It might not be the one I made.
Well, we usually don't call out the schedule until right before opening. Right. So the Monday before the opening weekend,
next week, yeah.
Which is that next
week? We're not doing a Labor Day show.
Oh, we're not doing Labor Day. Oh, so it'll be next week then.
It'll have to be next week.
But we might have to move that up based on Pete. 9-8. That's a far cry. Last year you had him like 13-4, number 1 seed.
But the weird thing is, Tony, I actually think this is a better team.
But obviously you don't, because you think they're only going to win 9 games.
I think the division's a lot tougher. We went into last year thinking there were going to be layups in that division, right?
Yeah, we did.
Much. And now you look at it, I think it's a tough division. You got 6 games that are going to be really tough games to win, home and away. So it's not the layups it was a year ago. That's kind of why I did it the way I did it. But I'm not done making that prediction. That's not my official prediction. That was just a quick.
Well, it's out
Oh
there.
no, that's
Oh,
official. That's on the internet. That's on X. That's official.
That beeping you hear is Pete trying to back up.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
That's unlike Pete too. Usually Pete stands by when he puts out.
He's a stand-up guy.
No.
I did that on Monday night. I probably will still stand close to it. But
Pete, did you
maybe
put
one
your?
of them wins.
Let me ask you a question. When you did it on Monday night, I'm not sure why Monday night makes it any less credible, but on Monday night when you did that and you push send to your editor or whoever puts that up for you, you signed your name on it. Now, if you're trying to back off, just be a man and own it that you are backing out of what you signed your name on.
I'm not backing out, but what happens if somebody gets hurt in the next 2 weeks?
No. That's no. So
That's why my official prediction on every team is made the day of the Thursday night game. That's when we do them.
So
the first game.
So, but right now, where everything sits, you're signing off on 9-8.
Yeah, and the Texans go on 9-8 as well.
And the Texans win in the division.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, most people have the Texans going 12-5 or whatever. I at least had some rational thinking on that team.
We'll get to this again a little bit later tonight.
Wow, I'm just saying.
An opening salvo.
You have winning the division, Tony.
I have the Jags winning the division.
Of course you do. You're a pom-pom waiver.
No, I think they go 11-6.
Pretty good year. That's a pretty good year.
Since you must have done some work over the weekend and fixed the interior of the offensive line, I guess, huh? Wow.
Hey, by the way, we'll get to that offensive line and all that coming up. This is a weird game to analyze coming out of it.
You can't.
There's all the backups play.
I don't know how to say this without just being transparent, honest. What are you evaluating? You're evaluating how the back half of your roster is going to be. There's nothing else that you can really look at and say, make a judgment of what type of team this is going to be. Okay, we know what type of team. If something, God forbid, happens to Trevor Lawrence, okay, I feel good. We have a good backup. Mm-hmm. Great. Not a position you really want to ever find out how good that person is. We saw a handful of snaps from Anton Harrison, who confirmed, I think he's our best offensive lineman. I think that's no different because he's the best pass blocker. I want to see him get more physical in the run game still, but he's a very good player. Okay, great. We kind of knew that, didn't we, before his 8 or 9 snaps on Saturday night? Ezra Cleveland played. He's a starter. I think watching it live, he looked better than he did in practice because I thought in practice on Wednesday he was really hobbled, limping. Mm-hmm. I thought there was a noticeable limp. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay, that was better. Outside of that, what'd you like? Okay, Tank. I'll say that the most positive thing that came out of that game for me that can translate into the regular season was Tank Bigsby. If he plays like that, and I love what Doug and Press did, they purposely threw him the ball because what was one of the knocks on him as a weakness is his hands and him be able to be a part of the passing game. Well, they purposely said, we're going to build some confidence. We're going to get him going. And I thought he did a great job in the pass game. I think he's a very good downhill runner. He runs through tackles. He finishes. That was the positive. Like, okay, I feel way better about our backfield after Saturday night, knowing that you have Etienne and Bigsby, with probably D'Ernest Johnson as your third because the rookie. I think you have to put the rookie on IR. No, not practice squad.
Keelan Robinson.
Keelan Robinson. I think you put him on IR because he has the foot. He's been in a boot. He's done nothing. How do you make a judgment of whether he can do it or not? How are you going to trust him in protection and everything else? So the slot receiver had a good day the other night. But we already knew that. Like, okay, we knew Parker. We already knew that.
You're saying coming out of that game specifically.
Yeah, I'm just talking that game, Pete. I mean, I'm glad we won. It was a fine showing. It was a bunch.
And then to your point on defense, there were only, 2 defensive starters that played? Chad Muma was one of those.
But he didn't play the position he's going to start at. He played inside.
That's right.
And is he really a starter? I mean,
he's
listed as the strong side linebacker.
He's the starting
Sam. But the nickelback's the starter, though. Yeah.
Well, I mean, 65% of the time, you're right, Pete.
And Braswell
maybe 70
played as well.
now. It's almost up to 70 now, Tony, in a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But Muma actually did some good things the other night. But again, he's playing against guys that are going to be, taking IDs at the bar later on in another month and a half as they try and figure out what they're going to do.
That was like the old fourth preseason game.
Yeah.
Like you got a handful of guys that'll be on an NFL roster, and then you have a bunch of accountants
and bartenders and bouncers.
Well, I'm trying to be nicer and saying we got smart guys out there.
But look, it's hard to evaluate. And I go back and watch all of them. I try to, and I'm like watching these. I'm like, how can I evaluate this guy against that guy? If a starter's playing for a team and he's playing against a guy that's not going to make the team, how do you evaluate that? It's hard. It's a hard evaluation. It really is.
Well, then you can get back up.
But here's the other thing we can from the game the other night we can do. We can stop the fast track to Canton for Cooper Hodges.
Why? Because of the one play, Pete?
It wasn't great. It wasn't great, Tony. It was just okay.
Okay, but like here's my problem with people evaluating offensive line.
Oh, here we go.
And it's not, Pete, I know you actually do a good job because you watch the entirety of the tape and you make an overall judgment. But I even think you were skewed at times by one or two really bad plays. And he got beat off right here. We're watching it. He got his hand slapped. He got beat immediately. It was ugly. It wasn't good. Call it whatever you want. But you can't make a judgment based on one.
Wasn't as good in the run game.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not saying he was great on Saturday night, but all I hear is like, oh, Cooper Hodges this. Okay, he got beat. And this isn't the case for Saturday night, but he played 50-plus snaps. What if every other snap was good besides that one?
Yeah, no, I get it, Tony. But, I mean, the overall body of work, I thought the week before he was really good, even though he had some negative plays. And I thought this week he was just okay.
Okay, that's fine. But I don't think you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Of all the games I've played in my entire life, well, let me say this, from college to the pros, where you're playing against really equal talent, competitive people, I have never had a perfect game. At least to my standard. I graded high, did all those things.
What is a perfect game to you?
Well, I've had guys not on the stat sheet before.
Right, I was going to say
but then, perfect technique, perfect footwork, perfect assignment, perfect aiming points, dominating the individual, finishing every snap. That's a perfect game. If you want to say what it is and what you should be striving for. Now, I think some guys need to raise the standard of what acceptable is. But for me, that's the standard. And I remember games, where 70 plays, let's say, and I absolutely just beat the you-know-what out of the guy for, 68 of them. And on, a play, get a late rush, maybe a coverage sack where I give up late pressure that ends up in a sack. And that's all anyone wants to talk about. Now, for me, it was miserable. The rest of the whole night I'm sitting there looking at that one play. But I also think at that position, you have to take a step back and look at the body of work before you make judgments, because everyone is going to get beat at some point.
Plus, there's the assignment factor. That's when you watch the tape.
That's exactly right.
The assignment factor on the offensive line is hard to gauge who's responsible for it, but you can tell.
Okay, I'll ask
if
you
the guy's not playing well.
Okay, who's the best offensive tackle? Would you say who's the best offensive tackle in football right now? You think?
Trent Williams when he's playing.
I would either say Tristan Wirfs or Trent Williams. I think those are my or Lane Johnson, right tackle. I was thinking left more, but Lane Johnson's up there too.
Penei Sewell
is another great one. Great players. I mean, just fabulous. Great players. I guarantee I can go turn on tape and show you them getting beat. I know it. I know it. Now, me watching that, I understand that you're going to have a bad set or things are going to happen or a guy has a great rush. You're playing against a great player. He just beat you. That doesn't change the fact that they're great and they dominate football games. But for whatever reason, the offensive line more than anything, probably corner after that, we have this we have this biases to look at and watch the game and oh no, someone got beat. He had a bad game. Oh no. Now, you don't want to get beat at the wrong time and you don't want to get beat right away, and that's what happened with Cooper. It makes it even worse. But It happens. And so
he was just, but
I'm not
pinpointing
defending him,
for that.
Pete. I'm not defending saying he played great.
Right.
And yes, this is why you got to be careful anytime you watch football, especially this time of year, in the preseason, even camp.
But last week you were saying how great he played.
I thought he played good. No, my point is that doesn't mean I was ready to anoint him as the starter, Pete. I'm just saying, like, I still think after 2 games, Cooper Hodges has the ability to play at a starting level. He's a starting level caliber type of player in the NFL. Like, I think that's
this year.
I think that's what he will be, and I think he can get there at some point this year. I'm not saying I would start him week 1. I've never said that. I don't think he's one of your best 5.
Which goes back to the 9-8 prediction. The middle of the offensive line is a worry.
Well, we can debate that and talk about that, because I think you and I are going to be on the same page there. My overall point is, this time of year, the tendency of the media and fans is to make these statements, these definitive black and white statements. Good, bad, great, terrible. And I think we saw it last year. I'll give you a perfect example. All of training camp, all I heard about was how Calvin Ridley was the second coming of Jimmy Smith. That's all that was reported. Like, and this isn't a knock against Calvin Ridley. I said it at the time. I said, you guys are crazy to even make that comparison. And would anyone after the season last year, did Calvin Ridley have a fine season, over 1,000? Yes. Is he anywhere close to a dominant number 1 receiver?
No.
Is he anywhere even close to what Jimmy Smith was for this organization? No. But Pete, that was the talk all of camp.
Well, and somebody I know very well compared him to a cross between Jimmy Smith and Marvin Harris.
I mean, my goodness.
Wow. We've got plenty ahead, of course. Second hour coming up. We've got your Fanatics fan questions. We'll keep it real as always. We've got some offensive line talk to go as well.
Pete's taking shots at me. I'm ready to go right now.
We've got a long time ahead to take care of this tonight. Jags fans want customized Jags furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair, furniture for fans. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
For us, treating cancer is personal. We're Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, and we know that every patient is unique. So you'll have a plan created by world-renowned doctors and tailored to your needs. And everyone here will support you every step of the way, so you're physically, emotionally, and spiritually strong for the journey. Don't face cancer with anything less than the team at Baptist MD Anderson. Locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Visit BaptistMDAnderson.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more, or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
You love free. And at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elase, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elase.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
Number one goal is to obviously, keep your quarterback clean. Second thing is be able to, run the football a little bit with some success. And even though you're not going into these games, game planning, you still want to have that success. And then just, your training camp rules kind of take over in protection game, run game, things like that. But, play physical, control the line of scrimmage as best you can, no matter who lines up on the other side. I can't control, Atlanta, but just see the continuity, the unity with those 5 or 6 guys that'll be out there.
Head coach Doug Peterson earlier today discussing what he wants to see out of the offensive line this week. Their last opportunity to get things going before week 1 in Miami. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick with Tony Boselli from the Miller Electric Center, the Hyundai Studios, and Pete Prisco down in South Florida. And this hopefully will be the opportunity to have the starting offensive line out there in a game for the first time this preseason together. Week 1, there were 3 of them. Last week, there were 2 of them, Pete. So that continuity, and we'll see it hopefully this Friday night in Atlanta.
Well, they need to work together, and they need to get into a game together, just even if it's only for, a handful of plays or whatever they play, because it's nice to take the field in a real game, having done a little. And again, it's a preseason game, so it's not that important. It's not the same thing, clearly, but you'd like to see them get some work together, and I think that's good, because let's be real. If everything about that team, the biggest concern right now is the offensive line. I don't think there's any question about that.
Well, they're going to play, everything I'm hearing at least. And
Quarter and a half?
About a half.
I heard a half.
Yeah, that's what Doug said.
2 full quarters.
Yep.
Well, that's good. They need that.
I would agree.
So you played offensive line. How important was it for you to get some work with the guys going to be playing next to you?
That all depended. And I'm being serious. Early, I think a lot. By the end of our run, Pete, here, Ben Coleman and I had played together for 3 or 4 years next to each other. So, did we need as many reps as we probably got? If I go back to think of 4 preseason games, we played two series, a quarter and a half to a half, game 2, depending on how it went. The whole half plus the first drive coming out in the third quarter, because Tom wanted to make sure we knew what it was like coming out of halftime.
Forgot what it was like to run out of a tunnel.
Never understood how to do that. And then, then probably, 6 to 10 plays in the 4th preseason game. Now, I think that was overkill.
Yeah, but and here's the other difference, though, Tony. You guys actually repped in pads in practice.
Well, I was going to say that, and that's on top of 4 weeks of 2-a-days, 6 days a week. Mm-hmm. Full pads.
So how many times has this offensive line?
Not enough, Pete. Not enough. That's why I'm all for playing a whole half.
Exactly. I'm with you. Play them.
Yeah.
Let them get some reps. So you can know. Morse and the guards know when to get off the double. The tackles know when it's time to get off of that.
Yeah, just timing, communication, and how about just reps. I was talking to Tom Moore, who's with Tampa, 83 years old, still coaching, started with the Steelers, was the quarterback coach for and coordinator for the Colts when they had Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Moore
He's
is
got a book coming out, right?
Legendary coach. And him and I were talking about this in the game before the game against Tampa, and we were talking about how much camp has changed and everything's changed since he's been in the league, which is a lot, 50 plus years. He's seen everything, and I've said always that offensive line is a position of repetition. That you have to have reps to get better. I think everything in life's that way, but the offensive line is critical because what you're asking guys to do, one, is not a natural thing you do on a daily basis. Like no one's going backwards, setting and the movements and everything. Two, you're typically blocking guys who are better athletes, some of the premier athletes, and so to do that effectively, and then you have to coordinate across at least 5 guys, sometimes 6 or 7 with tight ends, the entire scheme. So to do that effectively, you can't train by yourself to do that. You need repetition by yourself. You have to rep your personal technique, but then you need repetitions as a group going through drills, game situations, and games to get you ready for when it counts. Now, do I think we need it as much as we used to get? No. Do I think they get enough now? No. I think there's a happy medium in there somewhere, and I don't have the exact number. But the reality is these guys get so few real reps. Like you can 7-on-7, you can get timing of the passing game with no pads on, a helmet, and you can do all that. And you can be productive. You can't do that without pads on as an offensive lineman because it's just not real. It's not going to be at the same velocity and violence and physicality and all those things. And you're not going to have the same leverage, or you're not going to have the same leverage because, you lose something when you're not finishing blocks. You're not going to have that finishing mentality. You're not going to have the timing getting up to the next level. The only way you do that is live. The only way you do that is full speed. And this group, and not just this group, but across the league, have so few opportunities to do that. I mean, you look at last week against Tampa. JP, I wasn't at all the practices, but I believe Monday and Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, were more just helmets and shells.
Yeah, a little bit. And then Wednesday when the Bucs showed up.
Wednesday when the Bucs showed up was full pads.
That's right.
Thursday, which I still don't understand. I'm not being critical. I literally don't understand what the purpose of this is. And then Thursday against the Bucs, you're in helmets only with spiders, which ends up being somewhere between a walkthrough and full speed pace. I'm not sure what you get out of that. I mean, you get mental reps and assignment. And then you have a game, which none of the starters played in for the most part. So how many real reps did that offensive line get going full speed against a defense working on their craft? Not very many.
No.
Then you couple that with the fact that you have nicks and bruises. Ezra Cleveland's missed significant time in camp. Anton Harrison basically lost a whole week because of a concussion. So now 2/5 of your offensive line has not been together. And you then think about last year. What was the narrative that we were told of why they didn't play as well as they should have, and why they brought basically the same group back except for a center? Is because they had confidence in their starting 5, but they never were together healthy.
One game.
Yeah. Okay. Let's believe what they're saying. Okay, I'm in. Gotcha. Well, that means you need reps. Those they're not going to.
They're going to get a half of them this week. Is that enough? That's the question.
I don't know, but you're not magically going to show up at the Hard Rock Stadium down in Miami on September, whatever date it is.
8th?
No, it's later than
7th?
That. Maybe 8th, 7th or 8th.
8th.
September 8th. You're not all of a sudden going to show up and switch, flip the switch, and all 5 of us are going to be ready to go, hitting on all cylinders. It just doesn't work that way.
It does not. And the offensive linemen nowadays have so many things working against them to begin with. The fact that they, the college game has become what it is. It's harder to, run block because they pass
because it's basketball. It's basketball.
Yeah. And then the fact that you don't hit I mean, and get the reps in training camp. I mean, how many times have they had the pads on since you got? Seriously, JP, you've been every practice. How many times do they have the pads on?
Yeah, I mean, the first week was the ramp-up week, so none of that. Then they had about 2 in a row, the second week. I'd probably say about 8 times, 7, 9, 10 times.
Maybe, right?
Maybe that.
Maybe.
And then here's the other thing, and this is the rules everyone has to play with. According to the CBA, every 4 days you have to give a full day off.
That's right. Yeah.
You're only allowed to be at the facility for 11 hours in totality from the time you show up to the time you're done. You're only allowed on the field, I think, 2 hours from the time you walk out to the time you get off. As far as practice, I mean, you can get out there early and do your whatever you want.
Actual practice.
Yeah, actual practice.
And they have certain timing on the walkthrough in the afternoon.
Right. Then you have, but okay, that's mental.
That's different.
So then, and now you're only going to go in pads a couple times a week, maybe 3.
Yeah.
So why do you? I mean, it's hard to develop. It's hard to get ready.
That's bargained.
That's why.
Oh, I'm not blaming coaches or anything. That's what's bargained.
Collectively bargained.
But by the way, that's why the offensive line play is bad early in the year, and it's also why the tackling is bad early in the year.
That's right, because you don't get. And I have no proof, and I'm probably going to get killed for what I'm about to say. But I believe it, so I might as well go with it.
Go for it.
I think you have more soft injuries now than you ever had when I played. I have no data to back that up, but that's the sense I get. And the reason I believe that is, and I've had conversations with several other people across the league who believe the same thing, is because you don't train in a manner that prepares you to go play 65 snaps full speed, full explosion. And I don't think your body is fully ready. And when that's the case, that's where you get those soft tissue injuries.
Well, and that is the other part.
That's my theory. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's something to your part of the theory, but there's another part of it as well. The fact that they train at those high intensity places year round now.
Maybe that's it too.
Your body never, tissue. Okay, you can be in great shape, but the body never responds and rests the way it's supposed to rest. I mean, I get it. You have to be in shape, but Tony, those places are intense workouts, and sometimes you got to give your body a little bit of time off, and I think that contributes to it as well. I think there's both theories are out there, and I agree with probably both of them combined. This has some impact on why there's so many soft tissue injuries.
So the next, I don't know what we have next segment because I don't ever read anything JP sends out.
Yeah, of course.
I want to hear from Pete. Because Pete's made a couple comments about this offensive line, the interior of the offensive line.
Let's do that a little bit later.
Okay, I want to understand exactly what he believes about this group.
That'll be our keeping it real.
Okay, let's keep it real.
That'll be coming up in the second hour.
Great.
So
Love
stay tuned for that. We've got to get to some defensive talk. We haven't touched on them a whole lot. And what else you want to see from that group before?
How about the starters?
Okay, we'll come back and dig into that a little bit more. Sign up your furry friend for the Jaguars' official four-legged fan club for pets. It's presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the season. Visit jaguars.com/promotion/four-legged fan club and sign up today. The Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open legal residence in 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter and for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JAGSRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Really treats each day like a game day, and so with that we're trying to align and adjust before the pre-snap. When the pre-snap is what we talk about a lot, and then it's also attack and aggressive, and I think you're able to see that with our play, how guys are attacking the ball, getting hard hits, and I think it just allows us to play fast too and just being able to trust one another out there.
Chad Muma, Jaguars linebacker after the game against the Buccaneers, 4 tackles for him. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. Well, at least Tony Boselli and I. And Pete Prisco's down in South Florida. The Jaguars meet the Falcons Friday night, preseason week 3, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, downtown Atlanta. And the Jaguars defense. The starters will go, according to Doug Peterson, on both sides of the ball, about a half. So the question on defense is, what else do you want to see out of this group before the end of the preseason, Pete?
Well, I want to see, I want to see the interior guys stop the run and be good at that. We always focus on the edge guys, and Tony knows this as well as anybody, but you do too. If you stop the run, your pass rush is going to be that much better. And if you stop the run, they want to rush with 4 guys as much as they can and play man-to-man outside. If you can stop the run and put them in third and long situations, you're going to have a heck of a pass rush. So I think that's one of the most overlooked things that we've talked about. Not as many people are talking about that because it's not the sexy part of the game. But we've seen this team been run on a lot at times over the last couple of years. And I think that will impact their pass rush in a big way. They've gotten bigger. They've gotten more strength up front now that they've had. And I think that's going to be important for them. And getting Armstead back at some point is going to be important for them in a big way.
Didn't Armstead just get activated?
He did. He was out there doing some individual stuff today.
But
I don't think he's not playing.
It doesn't sound like they're going to force him this week.
I wouldn't either.
No.
No, he's a week 1. He's a week 1 guy.
So, Pete, to your point, I think this is fair to say, all great defenses and really good defenses can do 2 things. They can stop the run, and the really good ones can do with 7 in the box. But they can stop the run, whether you have 7 or 8 in the box, and they can get pressure with 4. So they can play coverage in the back half. If you can stop the run and pressure with 4 guys, you're going to be okay. The question is, can this group do that? Right now, I'd have more confidence in them being able to get pressure with the 4 up front, assuming Eric Armstead is healthy, because, I think you have 3 high-quality guys in Josh Allen, Eric Armstead, and Trayvon Walker rushing the passer. The question is can they stop the run? Because I think the big question is on the interior of that of that defensive line. Excuse me. So you got Devon Hamilton coming back after a very serious, scary injury last year.
He's looked okay, right?
Hard to tell, but yeah. I mean, looks more like himself. We'll see what it's like when.
Well, he wasn't anything like himself last year.
Well, I mean, he had no, that's what I'm saying. He had a serious injury.
Right, he probably shouldn't come back.
It was scary. Obviously, there's questions about Roy Robertson-Harris. He had some issue coming into the camp. I don't think he's had a great camp. That's proven by the fact that he played into the fourth quarter in week 1 of the preseason, and he was one of the few veteran guys or guys who you assumed would play a major role as a starter or just like a starter. He played again in week 2, so they have questions about him.
And by the way, he played into the second quarter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He played. And then after that, you have Lacey, unproven second-year guy. You have Mason Smith, rookie. You have Jefferson, rookie. And then you get into guys like Ledbetter and Gostis.
Gostis is not on the team anymore.
So Gostis is
the
gone.
roster's right here, Tony.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But
I'm just kidding. Yes,
thank
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And so you start looking at where do you get the production? Is Eric Armstead a guy who wants to stop the run after 10 years and coming off an injury?
Well, he wasn't very good at it at the end of last year. I can tell you that with 100%. Watching their tape all the way through, he had problems with it.
Well, is that
and
what
he was hurt?
He was hurt,
but he had problems.
Mm-hmm. And so you look at that, and so you got a guy playing Mike linebacker for the first time, and Devin Lloyd, who in college was the on the line of scrimmage linebacker. Last year he was a Will. Now you're moving to Mike. Mm-hmm. So what's that look like? So I think there's questions. Now, maybe you get a lot of production out of these big body rookies. I like what they did in the draft. They went and got big guys who are big physical guys.
Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson, those guys are not small.
Not small. They're powerful. Yeah. So maybe they can give you that where you're not counting on any pass rush from them, but they can just be big, nasty guys who clog up the middle and get you to passing situations.
Your conversation about Roy Robertson-Harris, Doug Peterson was asked about him specifically today. Here's the head coach.
Roy's been doing a really good job. I think too, he missed a lot of springtime, with his injury, and so it takes some time just learning the techniques and learning the details of the defense, but he's been doing a great job. He's going to be an impact player for us and just continue to grow in the defense, consistency, not only by Roy but by everybody, and continue to show that he's one of the mainstays on that interior line.
All right, there's the head coach earlier today about Roy Robertson-Harris. Just getting more time.
There something doesn't add up on the smell test there, and God had helped me if I was a beat guy, but still covering that team on a daily basis. I'd be waiting out in the parking lot and try and find something because it doesn't. There's no way a health issue is making him play into the fourth quarter of preseason game number 1 and into the second quarter of preseason game number 2. Tony, you've been around the league a long time. You have to agree with me. There's something up there.
Based on the optics, Pete, I agree 100% with you. Now, I also, what Doug said makes sense. They want to get him reps because he missed most of the offseason. Want to make sure he's comfortable in the defense. Okay. Sure. I mean,
Pete's not buying it. He's not
listen,
buying what you're selling.
I love Doug. I'll bite. I'll take the bait.
Okay, you're going to be me for a day as the beat guy back in the day. You're not asking that question. Come on.
I'm surprised it hasn't been a major story. None of the beat guys are going after it now.
No, it should be. Something's up.
That was one of the first times he's been asked about that.
That would have been
right there.
If I was a beat guy, which I have no experience, so this is pretty. It would have been question 1 or 2 or 3 after week 1. Like, why is Roy Robertson-Harris playing in the fourth quarter?
Why is a guy with a redone deal with a monster cap hit that you can't cut him playing in the fourth quarter? There's got to be something at play there. There has to be. And not to get him okay, if he's injured and he didn't get his reps, if he was injured, you might protect him more. They sure as hell ain't rushing Eric Armstead back to get his reps in on the new defense, are they?
No, they're not. It's a good point, Pete.
There's not one thing about that adds up. None of it. Zero.
Okay. Pete makes a great point. I'm not sure what to say.
Boselli agrees with me on this when he just sits there and he goes, "Okay."
I don't know where to go with this.
It is what it is.
I got the head coach who I trust, and I listen to what he says.
Has anybody gone to Roy and asked him, what the hell do you think about playing into the fourth quarter of a first preseason game as a veteran who just got his contract redone? There's no way he's happy about that.
Well, it's not anybody, Pete, because if I were to have a conversation with Roy about that, I would never talk about it because that's not my job. My job is to analyze the team. But I don't know of anybody whose job it is to ask those questions, or the beat, that has asked Roy that question. Maybe they have, and he didn't want to answer it. I have no idea if they have or not.
I can tell you that I don't think he's been at the podium after practice. They put a player there after each.
But
you can request one-on-ones otherwise. And I don't know who he has or has not talked to.
They have no They have no locker rooms at this time of year.
Not this time of year. No. So week 1.
Well, and by the way, he was blocked the other night too, and against those backups, he was blocked. It wasn't like he was making a major impact. I mean, there's got to be concern about him, but more than that, there's got to be more to the story. Something happened. Something's at play here.
But Pete, here's the reality, and you know this. They have no real options because if you cut them, you're paying them.
Right.
Now, they have cap. If they wanted to get rid of him, they could. I mean, and just eat it to open a roster spot. They have. I'm pretty sure they have the cap room to do it.
But do they have the depth behind him?
But do they have the depth, and does it make any sense?
Yeah.
And then the conversation you have with the owner afterwards is like, why do we – wait a second, we just got a guy we just got done giving more money to?
Well, that's why they can't. That's why they can't, and they won't. So they're taking another. It looks like they're taking another way to get to him, which is play him into the fourth quarter. And then, I mean, okay, here's the lineups for the second preseason game. Nobody's playing, but here's the guy who just got a bunch of money handed to him, and he's playing. Well, we get because he was hurt and he didn't, didn't get his reps. Well, Armstead hasn't had any reps either, and he's not playing. No, done that up.
Fair analysis, Pete.
Looking for the MVP of the truck game? Better check out the new 2024 Ford F-150. It's loaded with impressive capability and game-changing tech, and you can dominate work, play, and everything in between. Test drive an F-150 at your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The second hour coming up at the top of the hour. We'll have your Fanatics fan questions. We'll keep it real about the offensive line, as if we haven't already. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Chelsea here with Renewal by Anderson. Renewal by Anderson specializes in energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors that are twice as tough as vinyl. Save money through the month of August and save $300 on every window and $825 on every patio door. Plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Some restrictions apply. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go to rbfla.com to book your design consultation today. License number CGC 1527613.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on, so make it your best summer ever with Ford. Now's the best time to get our best deals on a great selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the Ford Explorer, the Ford Bronco family, Ford F-Series, and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now at your Ford dealer today.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elase, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elase.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
You get a chance to get your starters a lot of reps in a controlled environment against another football team, and I thought both teams really did showed great sportsmanship during the week. Coach Bowles does a great job, obviously, with his team, and our guys. I was proud of the way our guys handled themselves, but to get our starters the number of reps they did for 2 days in a controlled environment really. Is good work, because in a game like tonight, they would only get maybe a quarter again or a quarter and a half, and sometimes you don't get the scenarios or the situations you want. So doing a joint practice like that, you can do that and really get some good work.
Head coach Doug Peterson after the game Saturday night, the win over the Buccaneers. And welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. Final moments of the opening hour of the show. JP Shadrick, Tony Boselli, and Pete Prisco recapping that win over the Bucs, and a little later we'll look ahead to the Jaguars and the Falcons. A little bit more offensive line talk coming up when we keep it real in hour number 2, and Fanatics fan questions as well. Yes, Tony, hello.
Well, as I read through this show script today.
You really dissected that thing.
I did.
You were
deep.
deep.
We did not talk about one thing we should talk about in the first hour.
What's that?
That's Mac Jones.
Yeah. I mean, fine performance for him. And then to come off the bench again and finish the game out was good. 2 touchdown passes. It's a good thing, right?
Pete?
Look, they have a backup quarterback now. That's what they have. Because, look, that's part of the reason they went and got him is because they weren't comfortable with C.J. Beathard being the backup quarterback. I mean, they could say they were or they weren't. That's why they went and got Mac Jones. And Mac Jones looked good. He looks comfortable. He did. He looked like he was a good quality NFL backup. And that's what he's going to be.
So you don't think Mac Jones is a starter in this league for the rest of his career?
I mean, he might start somewhere at some point. Yeah, I mean, maybe. You last week you had teams clamoring to go get him after a year sitting on the bench behind Trevor Lawrence. I don't understand that.
I don't know if I said clamoring. I don't know about that. I think they'll be clamoring for him the same way people are clamoring for Baker Mayfield.
I don't think he's as good as Baker Mayfield.
That's interesting. I don't know if I agree with you there, Pete.
Baker Mayfield's pretty good, Tony.
I think Mac Jones is better than people think.
So, I mean, he did some good things the other night. There's no question about that. And he is he's the back quarterback.
Oh, gosh,
Yeah, it wasn't even. Yeah. I don't even think it was a thing going in.
I don't either.
Said it was, and I didn't buy that the first few practices we saw him throw it around.
I think he has an above average arm, good arm.
Pretty good arm.
I think he has, good instincts and football IQ, seeing it. I think he's probably a below average athlete running the ball.
Yeah, he thinks he's better than he is at running. Probably. Right?
Well, he made some moves. I'll give him credit. He juked some guys, so maybe he's better than I think.
Here's a
I think I think he's done a great job in camp. I mean, I talked about it last week.
How screwed up was he in New England, though? I mean, he had,
so screwed up.
He had 3 play callers at Alabama. He had 3 different play callers, I think, in New England at least.
But and they brought in Matt Patricia, and it's a bad situation. There's no doubt it was a bad situation.
They had a former defensive coordinator who had never coached offensive line as their offensive line coach and co-coordinator, and then they had a special teams, kind of maybe at some point in his career, wide receiver coach, Judge, as the other coordinator. Not clear who was really calling plays, doing what, on a roster that was probably pretty depleted in talent on the offense side.
It wasn't a good roster. I mean, in fairness to him, there were a lot of things working against him.
Like, how about everything working against him?
Right.
Tell me what was working for him.
Wait, did have Belichick.
Okay.
I mean, Belichick's arguably the greatest coach has ever lived. He had him as the coach.
This I'm a huge Belichick fan. I think he's arguably the best situational football coach in the history of the game, of maximizing and taking advantage of situations and matching up personnel, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to argue who did what he did.
Here comes a but.
Well, no. But the but is that he wasn't just the head coach, though. He was also general manager, overseer of all things. And I think
it's too big. It's too big a job.
I think it's hard to defend some of the picks and some of the moves that they made from a personnel standpoint. And I do think, I mean, if you take a step back and look at it, Pete, the genius of Belichick matched up with the greatness of Brady covered a lot of those sins for a long time.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And by the way, it's still a dynasty that's built on luck. They drafted him in the 6th round, Brady, and drafted a defensive back in the same round before him. So it's luck. They got lucky with the greatest quarterback who ever played. They got lucky. One quick thing about Mac Jones. What happens if he sits the entire season, Tony? Then there's not going to be anybody clamoring for him because he's just Mac Jones, the backup quarterback.
Maybe. That's a good point.
We'll discuss that a little bit more coming up in the second hour. Also, Fanatics fan questions. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
You love free, and at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yuengling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Dailies Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Dailies is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville Builders, score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Third and final preseason game, we usually let the starters play a little bit more. And again, it depends on the circumstance and the way the game goes, but you'd love to get maybe 2 quarters, out of them. But we do take a look at Atlanta a little bit, and we simulate a game week schedule-wise now that camp is broke, and that's probably the only reason, these weeks are important to get the guys, no longer in the hotel, they're living at home, transportation here, all that kind of stuff. It simulates and sort of feels like a game week.
Head coach Doug Peterson earlier today. Welcome back. Second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco. And the second hour is presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game. Tony Boselli with me here in studio. Yes, Hall of Famer.
So, Pete, I was listening to Doug's comments about how they broke camp this week, and it's a game week, which is traditional. Usually, back when I played, the week 3 was kind of your simulate what a normal week, you break camp, and what's a normal week look like during the regular season, just to kind of get everyone ready for it. I wonder in today's NFL if I'd want to break camp, especially if you have really, really young kids that don't sleep all night, because in camp, you're at the hotel by 6:37 every day.
Yeah.
Which is, I got home on a Wednesday, Thursday around 6:15 by the time you get out to the beach.
Are you talking about the kids at home? You're not talking about the kids on the football team.
I was talking about the kids at home.
Okay. So, I was like, wait a minute.
So, like, if you're a guy married and you have super young kids at the house, and because it's chaos. Like, camp was probably pretty nice this year, or this type of camp, because when you're done, you go back to the hotel, you have a meal made up, maybe get your massage, get your body work, do all the different things, quiet night of sleep, wake up, breakfast waiting for you, go to work, it's a 2-minute drive. Compared to like when we broke camp.
Camp was easy.
When we broke camp, it's like, oh golly, I don't have to be in meetings till 10:30 at night. I mean, no, if my wife heard that, she'd slap me right now. It's like, how dare you? You didn't want to come spend time with your kids. No, I want to spend time with the kids. I love the kids.
So let me ask you this, JP. They're back in.
It's pretty nice getting quiet sleep.
Say that again, Pete. I'm sorry.
They're in regular season mode right now. This week.
This week. That's what he just said. And it looked
like
it today.
Is the locker room open? Is the locker room open then?
No.
Well, regular season, the locker room's open.
Correct.
Because somebody's got to go get Roy Robertson back.
Right? I know. I mean, it's kind of what it is. But today they're working on cards.
The big difference is this is the first time that you'll have a scout team. Mm-hmm. Now, scout team's going to work on Atlanta stuff, so you're going to do install, like as an offensive lineman or the offense get together. However they present it, they'll present the game plan, they'll present the personnel. Kind of what Atlanta wants to do. You break up position groups, and then you go in and you start installing what's the run game, what's the pass game protection-wise as far as game plan for this week. Here's the fronts and first and second down. Here's what their sub, front look like. Here's their top blitzes. First, and you start installing that, and this is what we're going to do against it. And then when you get out to practice, instead of working against your defense, ones against ones or ones against twos, however they did it, now you're working ones against the scout team that's working off a card. And so you're getting prepped and you're preparing for Atlanta in the fronts that you're going to face. Where against Tampa and against Kansas City, you're not doing any real prep. You're just running your stuff regardless of what they're going to do.
So
you just happen to have a lot of people around.
Yeah,
a lot more bodies that'll be there the next week.
Well,
Are we cutting the team?
If you want to,
we can.
But this is
it's easy. The cuts are easy, I think.
This is, I mean, because during the regular season, I don't know how they do it now because they have so many practice squad guys. But back when we didn't have the big practice squad, the starters during each team session. So we'd have 2 team sessions, a 9-on-7 and a blitz. So it was like 4 sessions during regular season practice. So offensively, the ones would take 90% of those reps, and the 2s would get a couple. But then on scout team, Tom always made the starters go take 1 or 2 of the scout team reps too, which just drove me crazy. But that's what I mean. But now, and it was just because you didn't have enough offensive line, you might not have enough bodies to have, everyone, because of injuries and everything else. Sometimes you maybe only had, 2 tackles. You had the starters and maybe you had the swing and you had one other guy, but you wanted to get, for whatever reason. But my guess is nowadays with the large practice squad, your scout team's your scout team and your starters aren't doing any of those reps.
16 practice squad.
Yeah,
guys.
it's much different,
It's a lot.
which I love it. Make the practice squad as big as you want. That's more jobs for guys.
Absolutely.
Tony, I was thinking about this before. I know we got something else to go, but before the break, after the break, I was thinking about this. Mac Jones is an unrestricted free agent after the season.
Yes.
Correct.
What if he doesn't play at all? Which is the best case scenario for the Jaguars, by the way. It means your quarterback's playing the entire season. But what happens if he doesn't play?
So that depends on 2 things, Pete. What's the quarterback situation from a veteran standpoint going into next year? Meaning guys get hurt, guys retire. What teams have gaps?
No, but I'm saying from Jacksonville's standpoint, you want to try and bring him back.
Well, I'm going to get to that in a second. And so that's the first kind of thing. Second is what's the drafts? What quarterbacks are coming out in the draft? So how many guys are draftable to be a starting caliber guy? Well, if let's make this up. Let's say there's 10 teams that need a quarterback in the NFL. There's only 3 draftable guys that you're going to
start right away. Yeah.
Well, now there's probably a bigger market for a guy like Mac Jones because he started and taken a team to the playoffs before. Mm-hmm. So at that point, his market is going to be stronger, meaning there are going to be more people offering him money, which then limits the Jaguars from getting him back as a backup because you're only going to pay so much for your backup. And
what's the going rate? Like $3 million?
No. A guy like Mac Jones, I'd say 5 to 7.
But yes, but okay, let's.
So, but Pete, you see what I'm saying? So
I get it. If there's a market, if somebody needs one, and there's 3 teams out there, he's going to get a contract that's a decent contract.
Yeah, he'll get a $15 million, 2-year, $30 million type of deal, prove it type of situation, where he'll have a chance to go start. And obviously, if you're Mac Jones, you're going to go take that.
Absolutely.
Now, if let's say there's only 3 teams or 4 teams that need a quarterback, and it's a strong draft. Now all of a sudden you're saying, okay, maybe the market's not quite as strong.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams looking for a quarterback.
And Pete, I don't know. I have honestly not thought about it.
It's not hard. You can go right through it and figure it out. I mean, the Giants are going to be looking for a quarterback, probably.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So there's one in the East. The rest of them in the East aren't looking for quarterbacks. AFC East, they're not looking.
Well, the Jets could be.
Huh?
Jets could be.
If he retires, but I don't think he's retiring.
Well, it depends on what happens this year.
Okay, so maybe the Jets. Probably not. He said he wants to play at least a couple years.
Okay.
AFC South, nobody.
Nope.
NFC South.
What about the AFC West? What the West?
Okay, no Broncos. They just drafted one.
Raiders.
No. The Raiders. The Raiders would be looking for one, but they just signed Minshew. They're the same guy.
but I don't think so. I do not think.
No, I think Mac Jones is better.
I do too.
Right. Come on, Pete.
So you might be right. I mean, we don't have to go through the whole.
There's not going to be a lot of job opens. That's all I'm saying. And then there will be like 3 guys at the top of the draft. The kid from Jacksonville that plays for Georgia will be one of them.
Carson
he
Beck.
will be one of
Yeah.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Then you got Sanders from Colorado, and there's one or two guys will emerge. So you're going to have 3 or 4. He ain't getting a starting job next year. He ain't getting a free agent. He's going to be a backup in Jacksonville. That's what he is. It's okay.
See, I probably think a little bit more highly of Mac Jones than you do, Pete. But your analysis is correct. If there's no jobs.
The Saints job, maybe?
Yeah, that could be one. But, I mean, heck, the Carolina Panthers might be looking for one.
I'm not going to argue with you on that one, but I don't think they give up on him after 2 years.
No, I don't.
He might break in half before they give up on him, but yeah.
But it's just it's a supply demand thing for Mac Jones, because let's hope he doesn't get very many reps. Now, the flip side of that is, God forbid, and I don't want this to happen, but let's say Trevor misses
a month,
2 games, 2 games, hamstring, something like that, nothing major, and Mac Jones comes out and lights it up for 2 weeks. There will be a market for him,
and probably a market this year.
Oh, immediately!
If it's early,
yeah. If it's early enough, there could be a trade market, which I don't think you do, unless it's a high enough pick. You do. I mean, and we know this firsthand. The reason Fred Taylor is here is because Rob Johnson had 1 great preseason game and 1 great regular season game. That was it. And the Bills gave up the 8th overall pick to get him.
Well, and also I work with Rick Spielman. He panicked one year when his quarterback went down, when Teddy Bridgewater went down. He gave up a first-round pick for Sam Bradford.
So there can be.
Mm-hmm.
There can be scenarios. Yeah, if he plays, if you don't want that to happen, but if something happened and he played well, then maybe he gets another shot and gets a small contract from somebody to go be a starter.
He plays good enough, it'll be a good-sized contract.
No, it isn't.
Because, Pete, you know this. This is how this league works.
Baker Mayfield didn't get a good-sized contract when he first went to the Bucs.
Can I finish real quick?
Then he proved it.
Yeah.
Here's my point. This is how the league works. So Mac Jones was a first rounder. And he had a first-round grade by most teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe not as high as the Patriots picked him. Okay, so most GMs and scouts had a first-round grade on Mac Jones, somewhere in the first round. They don't forget that. So they believed he was a starting caliber quarterback when he came out of Alabama. Then he goes to his rookie year and takes the Patriots to the playoffs as the starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. So they have that body of work. Okay, this kid can win in the league. Has a couple bad years. They can justify why, all the things we talked about in the last segment. Mm-hmm. And he comes out, and he's the backup for 1 year to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor gets a hangnail and misses a game. And I'm saying that because I don't want him to speak any injuries. He just has, tears his
something minor, right?
Tears his big toenail off and he can't.
But okay,
he needs a day off, whatever. And Mac Jones comes out and throws, 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and takes the Jaguars to a victory. Well, now all of a sudden, if you're a GM that needs a quarterback, you can put together a pretty good story in your mind and sell it to everyone around you that we're getting Mac Jones on a bargain deal. And this is a former first rounder who won a playoff game and when he got into a stable situation in Jacksonville, performed at a high level. And Pete, you and I both know how these GMs think. They'll be going,
phone will be ringing.
I can make it work here with him. I can win with him.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on the other side. He was available to anybody who wanted him this year, and what did they get for him?
6th rounder.
I mean, that tells you there wasn't a market craving the guy.
Okay.
Well, okay, but he's still the same first-round pick that they had the first-round grade on when he came out.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But the last thing they saw of him was 2 years of an inefficient offense that couldn't get out of its own way, and he did not look good.
Well, and here's the other part of it. Well, how many quarterbacks that were first-round picks actually resurrected their career and had success again somewhere? I mean, Jim Plunkett did it.
That's what I was going with.
I mean, how long ago was that?
Baker's done it.
Huh?
Baker Mayfield has done it.
Baker has done it. I mean, it's possible, but me personally, I think he's a backup quarterback, and I think he's a really good backup quarterback.
And you might be right.
He's a better backup. He'll be a better backup quarterback than Blaine Gabbert was. And Blaine Gabbert made a lifetime of it.
Well, I think he's proven he's a better player. I mean, Blaine never did what Mac Jones did in the regular season as a starter.
No, but he also just looks like a better quarterback. But Blaine Gabbert was with the Bucks and then he was with the Chiefs. I mean, this guy's
got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Amazing.
Right.
Which is great. I love it for Blaine. Good for him.
Yeah.
Hey, let's come back. We got to keep it real about the offensive line. We got to get Pete's solution to this.
I don't know if there is a solution.
You have a solution?
No, I don't have a solution.
We're going to call you the solution man. Solving problems.
I would have gone out and got some guys, but they didn't. So I don't think there is a solution on the roster.
PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. Yes, keeping it real is next. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
I want that. The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on, so make it your best summer ever with Ford. Now's the best time to get our best deals on a great selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the Ford Explorer, the Ford Bronco family, Ford F-Series, and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now at your Ford dealer today.
If you're facing cancer, you want a dedicated team working for you. At Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, we only focus on cancer. And we partner with one of the largest cancer centers in the world. So you'll have a specialized treatment plan created by our experienced and highly trained oncologists and surgeons, collaborating with one of the country's leading cancer centers. Best of all, we're in North Florida with locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Appointments at BaptistMDAnderson.com.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JAGSRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. JP Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Pete Prisco. Live like a VIP with a Daily's Place Blue membership. See John Legend, Jane's Addiction, Creed, Alanis Morissette, and so many more. You'll enjoy guaranteed seats in the best locations, premium parking, and much more. Email ticketing at boldevents.com or call 904-633-2000. When was the last time you sat on the couch at Daly's Place, Tony? Been a minute?
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been to concerts there, but not on the couch.
I thought you owned one of those.
I do not. I've been invited several times, and I'm very thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, though, of Daly's Place, I don't think there's a bad seat in the house. I've sat all over that place from the lower level up into the terrace suite area. I've been to several concerts there, and have enjoyed every one of them, no matter where I sat. I don't think there was a bad seat in the place.
Love that.
What's the last one you went and saw?
It was a country. Dang it. It's a country artist, and I cannot. Was it Sam Hunt? Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Was that last year he played?
Maybe so.
Yeah, I can't. I want to say him. I haven't been probably in 9 months. Is my guess.
There you go.
But I haven't been in town very much.
You're a traveling man.
I am.
Time now for Keeping It Real, presented by nobody. It's available.
I would like to. That's not true. It is presented by Tony Boselli and Pete Prisco today. You'd like to support our podcast that has not yet been created, and you'd like to be a sponsor of that podcast, please call Pete Prisco.
No, don't call me.
Or post.
Call your business manager.
Or DM him at his X account and tell them all the money you want to pay him and I.
Yeah.
And we'll share all proceeds with this show.
I don't get paid as part of this?
No.
What in the world is this?
Well, yeah, we're going to share the proceeds with the show, which is your part of this show. So Pete and I will
you guys are getting paid double.
We'll double dip, and you'll get a single dip.
See how that works, JP?
Yeah, it's like the government. It's unbelievable. How the hell does that work?
That's our sponsor. The non-existent.
Welcome to America.
Prisco Boselli podcast.
Amazing. All right, so let's get to it. Offensive line. You know, we talked a lot in the first hour about the O-line. It sounds like the starters will get time together in the first half. They haven't all five been on the field in a preseason game. What is your greatest concern about this group as a whole? Pete, we'll start with you.
The middle of the offensive line. And Morse is a good player. Don't get me wrong. I think signing him makes sense. It's just he's still not an overpowering guy in the middle of the line. He's smart. He's a tactician. He finds a way to get it done. But, he's not going to be brute strength. I think Cleveland is an athletic guard, not brute strength. I think Sheriff once upon a time had more power, not anymore, not brute strength. So I think that's the major concern with me is the ability to get people and root them out of there and run the football. I think that was a problem last year. We know major part of the problem was Luke Fortner, but I just don't know if they're physical enough in the middle of that line. And that to me is worry number one. People will talk about their tackles. I worry more about the inside guys than I do the tackles. Believe it or not, Tony, there are people talking about their tackles nationally that think that's a problem area. I do not think it is. But
they think Cam's a problem because
I mean, and you're playing a second-year guy who's going to be a really good player. But again, it's a big step forward.
Okay.
But me personally, power in the middle of the line to root people out, run the ball. Look, I'm a pass-first guy. I always have been. You throw to score, you run to win. You have to be able to run the ball when you need to run the ball. And I question whether that group in the middle of that line is good enough to run it when they need to run it.
Tony?
I think what Pete is saying, I would probably agree with most of it. And I think it comes down to how you want to play football, number one. What's the style? I'm a big believer. You have to be able to run the ball when you need to run the ball. To close out a game, to get 3rd and 1, to push it. You got to be able to run the ball in the tight red zone because the windows are so tight. And I think then to stretch the field ultimately is off play action pass, which is set up a lot, off that run game. And this is a team last year, and I don't have the official ending statistics. I'm sure you do, JP, or you have a sense of them. But I believe if it was not the worst, it was at the probably bottom quartile of teams who were effective of converting 3rd and short, 4th and short, and punching it in the goal line on short yardage situations.
I would say that's probably a safe
guess.
And
so
yes. Just by the eyeball test.
By the
we remember.
And they had trouble controlling the line of scrimmage, especially in the second half of the year. And they did not do much to address that part. They brought in Mitch Morris, who I think is an upgrade at center. All the things that Pete said about him are accurate. I think he described both Ezra Cleveland and Brandon Sheriff accurately. And so my question is, can they get 3rd and 1 when they have to get 3rd and 1? Can they get those hard yardage, that hard yardage when everyone knows you're going to run the ball? And can you move guys? Can you displace that front? In a 4-minute situation, can they run it when they have to close out games? That's my big question. And we'll wait and see. But based on last year, what we saw, now they were injured. And so everything that we've heard from, Trent and Doug around, they never had their 5 together and all that stuff, that narrative, that's accurate. It's true. So is keeping all those guys, so one, you're betting you're going to keep them all healthy, which is hard to do. Very few teams make it with all the starting 5 all 17 games. And if you can do that or close to it, are the 5 guys up front the guys who can go get that short yardage when you have to have it, can run the ball when you need to close out the game, and control the line of scrimmage. That coupled with the fact, so that's the run game. I don't have the statistics, but I believe that Trevor got hit a lot. Let's put it that way. Last year. Now some of it was on him.
Yeah, running around.
Yeah, some of it's on him.
Yeah.
Holding the ball.
It's not all on the offensive line, but you got to hold up protection. Doug talked about that, and so this offensive line has to play better. They got to perform as a unit better than they did last year. And I think the interior's questions. I think you have 2 tackles that are good. I'm saying great. I think Anton Harrison has a really, especially in the pass game, his feet are so good and he plays with such good,
Yeah, and he has to be better in the run game. He wasn't great in the run game last year.
And I would agree with that. But he's very athletic. You can move him. You can pull him. You can do a lot of things.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's going to be a good player.
So it's an unknown. I mean, if I was looking at the offense in its entirety, and you asked me what position group are you most concerned about, it would be the offensive line. If you had asked me at the end of last year what the group I was most concerned about, I would have said the offensive line. And I wonder if they did enough in the offseason to address that.
Yeah, I don't know if they have. But here's the other thing. You get a physical back in Bigsby, you think, okay, well, maybe he'll be able to solve the short yardage situation and all that stuff. If you can't block him, I don't care how physical your back is, he ain't running it. He's not running it. So you got to be able to get that somehow, some way. You got to be able to get a crack and a crease on those short yardage situations, get people out of there. And I don't know if they can.
But the one thing I'll disagree slightly with you, Pete, on short yardage situations. Yes, it starts up front. You're right there. But a good back who has good vision, downhill, knows how to turn his shoulders and how to find that yard, that's a talent. And I was really impressed watching Tank on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Like I think he does a good job of getting downhill, playing with pad level. Like I don't think that's Travis Etienne's specialty. He's more of a space passing game, dynamic, but I don't think he plays with the pad level or the power that Tank does. And so a good back in that situation can really help you and make you look better as an offensive line just because of their ability to see it, hit it quickly, get pad level low, make that little turn just to slither in there to get that extra half yard. That can be the difference between moving the chains and being off the field.
Tank Bigsby, to you guys' point, 65 rushing yards in this preseason, 62 of those after contact.
Yeah, he's very – I think that was just on Saturday night. I don't think that's the whole preseason.
That's the whole preseason.
Oh, it is? I thought that was last night.
He had 37 rushing yards
Okay.
the other night.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
But that's all well and good. But even one of the most physical runners of all time, Derrick Henry, when you guys know if there was penetration in the middle of the line,
it was
he had
over.
to get his feet bounced. It was done.
Yep.
So you got to get push. You have to get push.
No, it can't cover up. It can't cover up an inept offensive line, Pete. I'm not saying.
Tony, but you know how they run the ball in the passes where they pin and pull and they get all those guys moving? Is that all they can do you think, with the way they're constructed right now?
That's all that's all they could do last year. I'm hoping not. They made it a point of emphasis this offseason, during the OTAs, during training camp, getting guys in 3-point stances, coming off the ball better. So I like that. And hopefully that will help them, especially in those situations where you got to go get a yard.
But again, you don't know that until you play. I mean, you can do that all offseason until you're blue in the face. But
JP, that goes back to the first hour when we talked about you got to get reps. You got to go do it. You got to go practice it. You got to work in, you
can do it against a dummy all day.
Playing with low pad level does not happen just because you tell yourself to play low pad level. You have to work in that range of motion, and you have to do it. I'll say this, as a tall guy where pad level could be an issue for me, being 6'7", my pad level was wildly different from the first 2 weeks of camp by the time we went to opening day. Because you repped it, and you're just repping it. That with Mike Mazer in my ear yelling at me to get down, lower, leverage. And you're working, and you get tired of getting stood up in the hole, and you're doing 9-on-7, and guys are coming downhill. It forces you to go figure it out and play with better leverage, better pad level, if you want to be effective. And that goes back to what we said in the first hour. It's about repetition. It just doesn't happen. It's not natural to operate as a big, tall man, which all these guys are, with pad level in a range that gives you the leverage you need to move people.
And by the way, I never had any problem with my pad leverage.
No. You have pad level. Pete, you have outstanding pad level right now as we're sitting here talking on the radio.
It's unbelievable. Low.
You're very low. Very low.
Yeah.
Back in a moment. That was Keeping It Real, presented by nobody except Tony and Pete.
Yep.
Reach
out to Pete on X. Was it at Pete Prisco? CBS?
At Prisco CBS.
At Prisco CBS. Just DM him and just tell him what you're gonna sponsor.
Pete loves the DMs.
Oh, he loves the DMs. And there's only one thing Pete likes more than DMs. That's money. That goes to him.
Fanatics fan questions when we come back. Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game. Tackle your marketing needs with Kessler Creative. Providing direct mail services for more than a decade, Kessler has a wide range of services from small mailers to large banners and signs. Draft Kessler as your first pick to receive the best targeted mail list. Elevate your business and be on the winning team with Kessler Creative. Kessler Creative, results-driven marketing and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinders' 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit DFHSalesEvent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's DFHSalesEvent.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips. Delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages. And you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Chelsea here with Renewal by Anderson. Renewal by Anderson specializes in energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors that are twice as tough as vinyl. Save money through the month of August and save $300 on every window and $825 on every patio door. Plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Some restrictions apply. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go to rbfla.com to book your design consultation today. License number CGC 1527613.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
We got to put more stress on them. You know, that was the thing that we talked about. We can't give them a rookie season. We got to get them ready to play now. And we kept them at 2.5 weeks longer than we've kept the previous 2 rookie classes. So they got a shorter break. We've demanded more of them, both mentally and physically, and we've put them in situations in the game that we weren't putting them in the previous 2 years, earlier in the game when it matters and it counts. So, you know, I think it's been a very successful transition for us.
That's Trent Baalke during the game broadcast on television Saturday night about the rookie class onboarding process and some changes this year. Welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour, second hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings, who brought dinner for our production crew tonight. Some Chubby-style wings. There was a chicken quesadilla out there.
But you ate the whole thing?
Nope. I had one little sliver a second ago.
And then you never have a small sliver of anything.
And then the pretzel bites, it looked like.
And you had all
I didn't
that,
have any
too.
of those. Nope. I didn't have time. I had like 2 minutes.
Tony didn't have any of it?
No.
No, he has not.
I haven't been back there yet. I came right for the show. I'm a professional. I don't eat on the job.
What would you eat if you went back there? Some wings?
Yeah, I like their wings. They give us wings during halftime.
Nice.
They're outstanding. They have great wings, great seasoning. They have
It's Chubby style.
It's Chubby style. They're really
secret.
It's a secret.
I think
it's a secret. Oh, where is that? Out by the beach?
There's one in Ponte Vedra. I know that.
I think there's one down Orange Park, I believe. Yes.
Not sure.
Fleming Island, close.
Fleming Island, yeah.
Yes.
The one is right in Ponte Vedra near me. I know that.
Because we did a show last year.
Yeah.
There.
Popular spot.
It is. Time now for the Fanatics fan questions. Jaguars fans, gear up at Fanatics.com with all the latest Jag styles. Shop now and get today's special offer at Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything. We put the cat signal out on X. Here's the best we come up with today. At Samuel of Duval, what's Mac Jones's trade value for a quarterback-needy team like the Vikings?
0.
And why would you trade him?
Yeah, first of all, you're not going to trade him for what they give you. Let's say they give you a 4th, 5th, 6th rounder. And the Vikings, yes, they lost J.J. McCarthy, but they also signed in the offseason Sam Darnold, knowing that
they have Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins. So they're not going to. I don't think they're in the market even to trade for a quarterback.
No.
Next question. At Tartan Teal, do the three of you have predictions for the stat lines of Parker Washington and Tank Bigsby this year? Both have really impressed so far.
Like over the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a shot at this. I'm going to say 650 yards rushing for Tank, and
it's a lot.
200. It is a lot.
200 yards receiving. No, 150 receiving.
So you say they're going to go what? 12 or 2,000 rushing yards as a combo this year?
Yeah, well, I mean that means 650,
1,300,
1,350 for. I don't have
too much.
I don't have Travis getting 1,350.
That many.
No, I think Travis is 1,100.
Okay.
I think Parker Washington has between 25 and 30 catches for 350 yards. Maybe a couple touchdowns. I'm assuming that Kirk stays healthy the whole year. So he'll be the backup slot.
Okay. Pete?
So how many yards did you say for Parker Washington?
I said between 25 to 30 catches and about between 250 to 300, so 10 yards a catch.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I would okay on that one. I think you're way high on Bigsby.
You don't think he gets 650?
No, more like 500s to high.
Okay.
And what's Travis getting? Travis Etienne Jr., Pete?
I think Tony's about right with that one. Probably 1,100. I mean, what do you think they rush for as a team? I mean,
Well, what did they rush for last year? Travis had, I think, right at 1,100 last year.
Right.
And I don't know what they rushed for, like 1,700 last year.
Stand by.
Well, they averaged here. I'll tell you what they averaged. This is what I got the average: 96.8 per game. So right about 1,700.
Yeah, so 1,700. So I'm saying they're going to be
less.
Okay, but let's just say it's 1,700. Okay, say 1,650.
Right. So then you have them at. If I get 500 and 1,100, then
that's 16. That's 600. Well, I have 650. That's 1,750, and let's say Trevor gets another 150. So I've met like 1,800, 1,900 yards this year. So I'm betting, Pete, they're going to have a better year.
Reverses and stuff like that. You got to count that in too.
Yeah, but I'm betting they're having a better year than they did last year when they were atrocious on the ground.
1646.
Well, I think I'm better. I just think 650 is a lot for your backup running back, though.
So let's say, what's middle of the pack last year as far as yards per game rushing? 120 yards, Pete?
Yeah, like a 15th ranked team in the league last year, or the 16th ranked team in the league was the Giants at 110.
So
game.
So 110, you're at.
Quarterback is involved in that too.
You're at basically you're just under 1,900 yards at 110.
Right, so that counts reverses, quarterback runs.
So maybe you might be right. So maybe 500 is a better number.
But in theory, Tank would get more work earlier in the season to give Travis more work later in the season.
Well, the pace that Travis was on last year, and we said it on the show, was not sustainable.
Yeah.
The number of touches he had. So I'm expecting.
So Tank could get some.
I'm expecting Tank to. I'm not going to say share the load 50-50 running the ball. But if this team's I'll say this, Pete. If this team plays with a lead late in the game and you're in more of that 4-minute offense, I could see games where Tank has more carries.
Well, maybe they should take Travis out on the goal line like Coughlin used to take Fred out on the goal line.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put Tank as their goal line back.
But see, I never understood that.
Well,
I don't understand.
I didn't understand with Fred because Fred was 235 pounds.
Yeah, he's not small.
And he's still, I mean, if Etienne's your lead back, he's your lead back.
But I think you're talking apples and oranges. Fred Taylor is bigger than any back on this team.
Other teams do it too. I'm not just saying in that scenario.
I know, but Pete, this is all you need to know about Fred Taylor and how great he was. Fred Taylor would be the biggest back on this team, and he would be the fastest back on this team, and he'd be the most elusive back on this team.
He might be the fastest player on the team.
He very well could.
Yeah.
He ran 4.29 or 4.3, whatever he ran.
He ran as fast as he needed to run.
4.27 at
Fred Taylor. That's the great. You know what? That's the line of the show because you're right, JP.
Yeah.
Fred ran as fast as he needed to get in the end zone. I mean, that guy.
Yep.
I mean.
Well, you know what though? Jimmy caught him on his 90-yard run.
Well, Jimmy ran as fast as he needed to as well. Those two guys could fly. And here's the difference between them and a lot of guys who can fly at the combine or fly running a 40. They were just as fast in full pads as they were, in gym shorts running. I mean,
it's just like Jerry Rice. I said to Jerry Rice, you ran 4.6 when you came out or whatever, and he said, "Did anybody ever catch me from behind?" I said, "No."
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah, there's certain guys. Now there's a lot. I mean, Tyreek Hill. He's as fast as he is with pads as he is without. I mean,
well, he's a track guy.
Right.
That's different. But there are certain guys who play football fast, and Jimmy was one of those guys.
He was.
Next question, Jag and Tag. Do you think it makes a difference having Press Taylor on the sidelines compared to the booth, or is it moot because it's preseason?
It doesn't. I don't care if it's preseason, postseason, regular season, after season, off season, no season, full season. It doesn't matter. Can we stop already with this? I'm exhausted, and it's not even the regular season of talking about where Press Taylor is in the sidelines, in the press box, who's calling plays. Because here's how this organization works. It's been like this, in my opinion, for the whole time. They build out the play sheet and the call sheet during the week as a staff, Press and Doug working very closely. Mm-hmm. And I think when they call the plays, whether it's Press or Doug, both have a lot of input of how the games can be called.
Well, and here's the other part of it. There's been coordinators have been on the sideline. There's been coordinators have been upstairs, and coordinators on the sidelines have had success, and coordinators upstairs have had success.
Here's the only thing I want to know. If I was king for a day, Press, where are you most comfortable, and where are you going to call the best game? Because that's where I'm going to put you.
Right.
Because I don't care if you're on the sideline or the booth. I want to know what's going to give you the best opportunity to call the best possible game.
Well, I added it up today. Not counting Doug Peterson, 11 head coaches call plays. They're not in a booth.
I don't think it matters, Pete.
I don't either. I'm with you, Tony. I agree with you 100%. I don't think it matters.
Kevin Gilbride was a great play caller. He was on the sideline.
Correct.
The year
where was Chris Palmer when he called
sideline? When we went 14-2, Tom Coughlin called the whole year. Was the offensive coordinator. I mean, he was the call. We had a coordinator, but he called every play as the head coach. He was on the sideline.
That was with Crazy Man from wasn't he from Louisville and the Falcons and Arkansas.
Petrino was the quote unquote coordinator.
Yeah.
But Tom called plays in '99.
Right,
In 2000, Petrino started calling plays.
Right.
Let's get one more question in at Soko Ryan. Looking ahead, Kirk has a cap number of $23.3 million next year. Is he potentially on the chopping block next offseason with $10 million of savings? Have to give Washington at least a season as the starter to see if he can take over the role.
So what are they saying? Cut him now?
I don't know about it.
No, he's talking about, right now?
Well, no. There's two different thoughts there, I think, is the issue. So,
who picked this question?
I did. Is Kirk on the chopping block next offseason?
No.
That's one.
Well, it depends how he plays this year. I don't know.
Right.
We're talking about who we're going to cut next year, JP. The fact that of the 1,000 questions we got on X today, you chose this one?
We haven't even cut the team this year yet.
And you think I start rushing things when I start talking about the draft?
Holy cow. How about this? Here's my answer to this question. I don't care.
But I'll answer it since it irritated Tony. But he's right. If Kirk has 100 catches for
you're going to redo him.
Yeah,
right.
He's around.
You'll redo it. If he has 45 catches and doesn't do anything, then you'll get rid of him.
Here's a news flash to you, JP, and whoever wrote that question. Christian Kirk is the most important. You could argue the most important offensive player on this team besides Trevor Lawrence.
I agree.
And here's the other part of that equation. Did he really was part of that question? He wants him to get rid of Kirk now and play Washington.
Wants to get Washington some snaps.
I don't understand the question. I don't understand how you picked the question. I don't like it.
That's a fumble on your part.
That's
yeah. You know what?
Pick that one.
I'll take that one.
Thank you.
That's on me, and I take that's my responsibility.
We're talking about
and I picked a bad
cap management in 2025 when we haven't played a regular season game. And by the way, we're talking about one of our best players on the team.
I bring up the draft in October, JP starts going nuts. Remember? How dare you? How dare you? He's got this guy cut. We haven't even kicked off the season here yet.
I'm going to go on a limb. My guess is Kirk's going to have a good year this year, and he's going to probably be an important part of the future.
And they'll redo his contract to take less than the cap hit.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's watched this team when Kirk's on the field and the difference when he's not.
We saw it.
Right.
We saw it in December.
And how he is able to make plays from the slot, how he's one of the smartest football players on this team, how he's a leader on the team. Like, I can't say enough good things about Kirk. And this is someone, when we signed him 2 years ago, I was like, wow, did we overpay for him? Let me tell you what. The answer is no. I was an idiot. We didn't overpay for him.
That was one I got right.
You got it right, Pete. You were dead on. I mean, I liked him as a player, but I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money for a slot receiver. Like, he's earned every dollar that we have paid him. He is a pro's pro. He's an outstanding player. He's a leader. He shows up to work. Like, he's a dang good football player.
By the way, the more I watch that rookie wide receiver, the more I like.
It's getting better.
He can. We're talking about Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
He can. Yes. He can fly. Like,
and the catch on the sideline, that was a heck of a route he ran. Too.
I agree. He gets behind anyone he wants.
Yeah.
Whew.
I'll do a better job picking.
Questions for 2026?
Not yet. Not tonight.
Hey,
Give me another week.
I got a question. When we open the season in the new stadium in 2028, who do you think will be our starting 5 offensive linemen?
Oh, man.
I just hope I'm alive then.
We're back in a moment.
Hey, Pete, we're all day-to-day, baby.
We all. Jags fans, are you Duval enough to become the Jags 2024 Fan of the Year and earn a trip to the Super Bowl? Visit NFL.com/Fan of the Year and nominate someone today. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
I want that. The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on, so make it your best summer ever with Ford. Now's the best time to get our best deals on a great selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the Ford Explorer, the Ford Bronco family, Ford F-Series, and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now at your Ford dealer today.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns
That's right.
to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice.
Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. Through the Everbank London Getaway, one lucky winner and a guest will receive round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and a pair of tickets to see the Jags play in London. To learn more and for official rules, visit everbank.com/London. No person necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in 50 United States and D.C. 18 or older. Entry period for the Everbank London Getaway Suites is from 8/5/24 to 9/5/24. To enter and for official rules, alternate method of entry, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/London. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Welcome back. Final moments of Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. JP Shadrick with Hall of Famer Tony Boselli. Pete Prisco is in our personal Hall of Fame. He's down in South Florida. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He should get the Ryder Award. Why haven't you gotten that, Pete?
Good question, but I have an idea.
I'll say this. Pete is one of the more underrated, underappreciated national sports writers.
Misunderstood.
Well, no, he's understood. That's part of his problem. That is part of the problem. But I'm not just saying this because he's one of my good friends, but one of the best in the business of what he does and does not get the recognition he deserves.
Well, thank you.
That's a fact.
Yes.
That is a fact. So,
Yes.
now, sometimes it's because he says stuff that people don't want to hear, which I enjoy personally.
And there are a lot of guys, by the way, that should be in the Hall of Fame that don't even get sniffs. And I'll give you Rick Stroud, who wrote the book with Tom Moore, by the way. Longtime Bucks writer, has covered the Bucks as long as I covered another one, but he doesn't play the game. Armando Salguero covers the Dolphins for years and networks, doesn't play the game. And so it's almost become a situation where if you don't, go to dinner with certain people or do this, you're not going to get in. And so I've resigned my fact that I'm not getting in. And if that's like Tony, like you used to say, if that's the worst thing that happened in my life, I had a hell of a life.
Yep. People who know you and people who cover the game like you do and people who played the game that you covered, they know the quality of reporter that you are and that you do the work.
By the way, if you get in, if you think I appreciate that, and if I got in, I wouldn't be able to sit around and make any more money for signing my signature anyway, so it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, Pete, I don't think you're getting any extra cash for being in there.
No. For 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jags. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all the available inventory.
They built my home. They built one.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They built a great home. Outstanding home.
I haven't seen that home yet.
Yeah, they built. You've been there, the new house.
No.
That's
I
right.
haven't been invited to the new house.
No, that's not true. I invited you last year for Thanksgiving.
I invited you for Christmas last year.
I did. I actually, Pete, to be clear, I invited him for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I was working Thanksgiving.
And he turned both of them down.
Well, he was working because he was calling a game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. What's your excuse for Christmas?
And then I went to see my family.
Well, my family's
first time in forever.
More important.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've invited.
He had to go see his dad, so his dad could spend the whole holiday ripping on me.
Right.
No, but Dreamfinders, they build an outstanding home. I can't say enough about that group.
All we did over Christmas dinner was talk about Pete. That's all we did.
Well, that's become a running gag now. I hope your dad knows that, right? That's like a joke.
This week ahead, final week of preseason. They got a couple practices left here, and then it's starters in the game Friday in Atlanta. Maybe a couple quarters. We've talked about offensive line, all 5 expected to go in the game for the first time this preseason, and the defense out there too. So they're going to work on a little bit of a game plan this week. So full steam ahead, right, Tony?
Yeah, I think this is important. Just the first half. I mean, obviously, goal number 1 is come out healthy. But I view Atlanta, new coach, new quarterback, middle of the road, NFC South team. Middle of the road. So if the Jaguars are who we want them to be and we think they can be, not that you have to go hang 28 on them and shut them out, but you need to go control the first half.
Right, move the ball.
Yeah, just control it.
Stop them.
Yeah, just control the game in the first half. I think that, 1, healthy, 2, controlling the game when your starters are in there. I think that's what the outcome you're looking for going into, basically over a 2-week break before you kick it off for real.
I'm gonna make a prediction here. Brian Thomas will catch a long touchdown pass in that game.
Do you want to lock that, Pete?
Lock it.
A lock in the final segment. Brian Thomas. What's long? What's your definition of long?
40 plus.
I like that lock. He's been playing better.
Yeah, but I want to see some deep balls going down the field, some shots hit, and I want to see the offensive line show up. Show up. That is not a great defensive line for the Falcons, so go and show up. Run the ball, push them around, protect the quarterback.
Sounds like a plan to me.
and defensively stop the run.
Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. He's a good back. There's talent on that offense now.
Yeah. We saw what he did. I mean, he can play. Robinson's good.
Their offensive line's pretty good, too, by the way. They're going to give him a test.
Yeah, they play physical. I'm not sure how talented they are, but they're well coached.
But the right guard might be the best right guard. Lindstrom had a great year.
I'm just saying as all 5 across the board. But my point, I think Matthews is a good left tackle.
Right, he's not great.
McCrary, their right tackle's a little bit limited as far as athletically, but big, tough, strong guy, physical.
Right.
So, I mean, and I think they're, the way they want to play with Robinson and kind of how they're structured, I think it'll be a good physical matchup.
Pete, great show as always. We'll talk to you again in 2 weeks. We won't have one on Labor Day.
Well, next
week. What is this?
What is wrong with you? You butchered the fan right in, and you butcher in the calendar. We'll see you next week, people. JP, Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Tony Boselli. It's a show. Let's go.